This is Rudo Radio coming to you from the 559.
Hello and welcome to Rudo Radio, SB Nation and Cage Side Seats weekly wrestling podcast.
Wait, what website?
Cage Side Seats?
I don't know. That's not what I heard.
What'd you hear?
I heard Cage Side, which is not a place. But that's okay because this morning I typed Ricochet as Ricochet like 17 times before I had to go back and correct it. So yeah,
I called a guy there's a famous wrestler from the 20s like Jim Landros or something, and I called him Lindros for an entire article. That was a good one.
Oof.
Yeah. As in Eric. All right, so you want to try that again?
No. No, I just interrupted and then tried to pull you out of the wreckage, but then you drew attention to it again after we had moved past it. So no, we're keeping it now.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Nick.
How's it going?
Pretty well.
I appreciate your little bone throne stunt last week.
Oh, yeah. Well, I also ended up including it in the preview for Royal Rumble, so
that's good. You're getting a lot of you're recycling. That's good.
Yeah. Well, no one's listening, so it's good to use the material somewhere where people will get some use out of it.
Oh, what the heck was I going to say? All right, so the Royal Rumble. Speaking of recycling material, I actually, now that I think about it, outside of the spare tire, that the Undertaker had, it was a pretty fresh Royal Rumble match. The pay-per-view overall was very good. My dad loved it. But the Royal Rumble match in particular, from beginning to end, was pretty exciting, which is rare. They're usually pretty boring. But this one kept the pace up pretty well. And Braun looked great. And Randy won, so that was fun.
I thought the Royal Rumble pay-per-view as a whole was really great from pretty much start to almost end. But then Roman Reigns showed up, and everything I enjoyed was suddenly terrible. It was all bad. And now I hate all of it. I don't know why they had to do that to me. Why they had to personally assault my prior hours and hours of entertainment. By bringing in a guy I didn't want to win, who, by the way, didn't even win. The fuck is that?
I feel like you're doing a bit, Mark.
Maybe.
Because it's crazy to complain about them purposefully making you angry and then happy. Being like, they made me feel real things is basically what you're complaining about, is that you got annoyed for like 10 seconds because you really thought Roman Reigns was going to win. And then they were like, just kidding. But that was funny, wasn't it, guys? And you were like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't funny.
I thought it was hilarious. Like, in the moment he came in, I think I tweeted in all caps, like, oh, come on. But I did that mostly because, like, dude, he just had this crazy match near the beginning of the show.
Which was super good.
It was great. But, like, my biggest issue with Roman Reigns, honestly, even outside of the pushing, is that, and Brandon Stroud has brought this up, he recovers all of his HP in between, never mind episodes of the show and weeks of the show, but, like, segments. So he's really good at selling within a match, but the second it's over, like, man, he just is back at 100%. So he shows up, he starts eliminating people, and it's like kicking ass, and, man, Bray Wyatt's in an Elimination Chamber match could realistically be WWE champion in like less than 2 weeks. And Roman Reigns comes in fucking fresh as a daisy after a crazy match early on, and he's just like, you're right. This fight. Also eliminated The Undertaker, who eliminated Goldberg, who eliminated Brock Lesnar, who destroyed 19 people at once. So there's just like this weird carryover where it's like, oh man, it's not just the pushing, it's the way you're doing it. But, like, I don't care. I love the way they did it, because it's like they intentionally pissed everybody off about Reigns so bad, so that Randy Orton won, and everyone was like, yes! For some reason, I don't feel upset that Randy Orton, who has already previously won a Rumble, and has been around for years and doesn't really need this, won the Rumble.
Yay!
I finally understood, like, the booking, you know, like, the booking 2 years ago when Reigns won was so bad. Most Rumbles are really good, like, even accidentally. But it's because the booking works in a way where, like, the winner doesn't always matter that much, like, in hindsight, you know, in retrospect. They're still entertaining to watch. That one's just bad. So bad.
Yes.
It's not because Roman won. Roman winning is, like, the least shitty part about that Rumble. It's just the way they went about it. So it was nice to see them get it.
They had the Big Show and Kane, like, really explore the studio space for about 10 minutes. In the year of our Lord, 2015? Like, come on, guys. I love Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is one of my favorite wrestlers, and even I was like, bruh. And they didn't even tease the fun part of that well, which was Rusev, like, hiding. They didn't like tease it out. Nobody mentioned. They were just like all of a sudden, but it was like everybody watching knew. Be like, they never mentioned. They were like, oh, it's such a surprise. Not like, oh, Roman Reigns, does he realize that Rusev hasn't been eliminated? They were like, huh, crazy, right? There's nobody left. It's like, you guys have been watching the match. You know for a fact he didn't get eliminated. Why are you not mentioning him? And I like. So I have a friend who is really into comic books as much as I am, and also into wrestling as much as I am. So we like to talk about what professional wrestlers or what comic book characters. And he nailed Roman Reigns so hard. He is Wolverine.
Was there a follow up to that, or?
No, I literally just said he was. Well, no, in the sense that like he's best when he's not talking. He's big, hairy, and wet all the time, and most importantly, the like HP thing of just him having super healing powers. You have to write him a certain way, which means you have to have him like have his skin ripped off by Dark Phoenix. You can't have him like, oh man, I have to beat up 2 old guys and another guy I've beaten in literally every match I've ever had with him. Like, that's why The Undertaker really worked for me with Roman Reigns. It's like, that dude is a bad dude, and in the context of the WWE, he's like a god. He's basically like, he's death. He's like, him and Brock Lesnar pull apart took literally the entire roster. Like, I'm really excited for an Undertaker, Roman Reigns. Whatever they do, I hope it's a WrestleMania retirement match, because The Undertaker looked terrible.
Oh
but,
my god, did he look bad?
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't the worst. That wasn't the worst I've ever seen him wrestle, but his gut was the worst I've ever seen it be.
Well, it feels like he came back from hip surgery too early.
Yes.
Just the way he was moving and everything. Which, you know, great. There's a couple more months before Mania, but, you know, I guess we'll see how that all goes. I did love the look on Roman Reigns' face after he eliminated Undertaker and he had that stare down. Was so great. Because, like, that is the version of Roman Reigns everyone loves from The Shield. You know, or just in his general badassery post-Shield before people felt like he was unfairly put on top after being cheered for years. He looked so, like, not hateful, you know, that's too strong, but it was very much like, this is my house. And, like...
Yeah, he literally said, this is my yard to him.
So, man, I would love to see him, you know, defend his territory against Undertaker. Hopefully Undertaker has 2 working hips when that happens, but...
Or like 1.5, because clearly that thing is on 0% capacity.
I don't know, he should get into whatever Roman does to increase his HP, because...
Ritalin?
Now. Let's not... Now. Let's not cast aspersions against Reigns. I mostly wanted to fake make fun of it. Well, I wanted to fake be mad about him and make fun of people who were legitimately like... Because I saw people say this, like...
Oh, I did too.
People on Twitter where they were really like... The Rumble was really good until, and I'm kind of like, but he didn't win.
Yeah, if he won, entirely legitimate.
Oh, yeah.
But they just don't like seeing him on TV because they like, it's almost like it's this thing where it's like, are you in on the joke or not? Like, I can't get a read on you if you actually understand that they're doing this to make you angry, or like if you're really getting angry and feel weird about, like, I don't get the like mental profile of someone who hates another human being that much that they can enjoy something for an hour. That other guy shows up and is disposed of, and they're like, gross. I hate it.
I can understand it if, like, you thought The Undertaker was going to win or should win, but, like, we could go into lots about everything that's wrong with that being the reaction to it. And I just don't feel like it, because there's a lot of other stuff that happened in wrestling, including at the Rumble. But I thought the Royal Rumble match was real good. There was kind of a lack of surprises for appearances.
10.
Well, that was a surprise in the sense that he wasn't listed, but, like, we were all talking about how Ty Dillinger should enter at number 10. And he did, and it was great. It was such a layup for them to do it. And
he looked good when he was in there.
Yeah, of course. He's Ty Dillinger. Yeah.
And Jack Gallagher looked
Yes.
he looks like a star. He looks like he sticks out and is fun and gets it.
I love that he brought the umbrella, because, like, hey, it's the Rumble. It's legal. Whatever.
I like that he rode it out of the ring.
Yes, he attempted to float out in the hopes of, like, grabbing onto something, but...
It would have been great if he caught a draft and it was just like, oh dear.
Ooh. So, speaking of catching something, Kofi's elimination save was not, like, his most stylish that he has done, or the craziest jump, but oh my god, his chest.
It broke the most ribs.
Yes. And I love Baron Corbin just being like, "Are you an idiot? Where are you going? I'm just gonna hit you."
I cannot believe... I mean, I can, but I can't believe they straight up just gave Baron Corbin that elimination on Braun Strowman.
Well,
that was, like...
He had a haluva kick assist.
But I thought Braun Strowman was going to be in there for 20... Like, he looked like he was really going to... Like, him and Roman Reigns were going to be the two people that were left at the end, kind of thing. I thought they were going to give him the Roman Reigns or Diesel push, and they didn't. I thought Baron Corbin looked great. I think both of them looked great. It was a really good night for tall, big, scary dudes.
Except for Kane, who missed his first Rumble in 21 years.
Maybe he was napping in the back. He's like, no, you guys are good.
Makes me feel even more like Kane might win the Dre this year. The Andre Memorial Battle Royal. If you're new, I know you know. If you're new to this podcast, it's the Dre. That's what we call it. Okay? Because Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial, the words are just out of order in my head. I don't have to remember any of it now. It's just the Dre. So it feels like Kane is
second best trophy in sports, as far as I'm concerned.
It feels like Kane has a possibility to win that as like a gold watch kind of situation. If he's not even participating in a Rumble, like that might
Which is the best gold watch they've ever had. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
Like, anybody can win it. Like, Cesaro made it so that anybody can... It doesn't just have to be the biggest guy, but you can also give it to the big guy and have him do what Andre the Giant literally used to do, which is, like, star in Battle Royals.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a strong possibility, too. And I think, like, it's going to start being kind of its own King of the Ring in a kind of way. Like, Baron Corbin won it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Cesaro was on a major push before he got hurt. There's, like, been a lot... Also, I think that might have been the year when he had the Paul Heyman thing. Boo.
Everyone lost their minds when he won, and then it was like, nah, let's make him a bad guy. And do a shitty job of it.
Yeah, just do a better job. It would have been fine. But yeah, I definitely think it'll be him, or it'll be like Braun Strowman will literally eliminate every other person in the Battle Royal. Like, he'll do it like that, where he just starts literally stacking people up and throwing them out at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, if Strowman has nothing else at Mania, too, then he absolutely should win the Dre, because don't miss an opportunity to give him something to brag about for Mania, even if it's that. Corbin did a great job of it, throughout the year, just, like, repeatedly being referenced as that and throwing that back at people like, dude, I won the Dre. Did you? I don't think you won it. That was my debut, by the way. So, I started up here, and you were terrible.
Baron rules. Did Baron get eliminated by his dad?
Yes. Son-dertaker got eliminated by
I
Undertaker.
hate you, Dad!
Someday they'll explore that space, and it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, I hope it's in the next month and a half.
Oh my god, I know.
Yeah, I can't. You really can't undersell how bad Undertaker looked relative to what the Undertaker has looked like in the past. Like, not relative to every wrestler who's ever wrestled, but like what the Undertaker is in my head, even when he was getting older, was a guy that was in really great shape that looked like he could beat you up. Now he looks like a guy who, like, would beat you up if he's willing to get out of his chair, but he's pretty good for the time being.
It's okay. He doesn't owe us anything, but also don't be around if you shouldn't be around anymore. So, that's a decision he has to make with his, demon lord. It's between him and his devil.
Yeah, I'm fine with him retiring whenever the hell he wants to retire. I don't wear a coat, or like me, wear a sweatshirt and then zip up the sweatshirt so it cuts.
Yes, Undertaker wrestling in a sweatshirt from now on. That'll be good.
Well, Randy Orton does. Well, he doesn't wrestle in a sweatshirt, but he wears that sleeveless sweatshirt.
Yeah, he doesn't wear pants.
I can't believe he won, but I also saw it coming because I was one of the big rumors at the same time.
Because he had the Vegas odds and was the presumed winner from like Wednesday onward.
But before that, it really didn't make sense, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, that's perfect. He's super over. He's crazy. He's one of the most over people in the company and has been for he's over in a way that John Cena isn't. Everybody loves Randy. Everybody's excited to see Randy. Except for, who doesn't love Randy? Name one.
I think a lot of people really love the RKO. I think Randy's great. You know that.
Okay, that's fair. That's
and
totally fair.
I think he's very popular, but I think people get more excited sometimes about seeing an RKO. They get
out of nowhere.
They get as excited about an RKO as I do about a punt possibly happening.
Yeah.
That's my jam. I'm like, kick this guy's head off.
I was watching old Royal Rumbles and No Way Outs. That entire year and a half where he's just punting everyone is really, up until they completely destroy how awesome it is at WrestleMania 25 and the week before that Raw, that is my favorite storyline ever. He's so good. But yeah, no, that's fair. I think the RKO is the second or third most over thing in the company, and Orton's fifth or sixth.
I mean, he is over. I don't think he's...
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. He is not so over that anyone would actually be excited about Randy Orton versus John Cena at WrestleMania.
I'm raising my hand.
No, you're not. You think you are, but as Doom comes closer, you'll be like, oh god, there's probably something better we could do with both of these guys. Not have them wrestle each other again. I swear to God, if they wrestle each other again and they're in handcuffs another time, I'm out. I'm just out. Unless Orton actually blows Cena up with the pyro this time. That'd be fun. And I love Cena, but do it. Do it this time. Go through with it, Randy. Listen to the voices.
I love the dynamic between them, meaning the Wyatt family.
Yes.
And
which is now one member short.
Yes, and John Cena during the intro, the second opening segment of SmackDown. I really like that Randy, and we talked about this a while ago when it first started to happen, that Randy's taken entirely the I like your style, joining his cult thing. I like where you're coming from. I like hurting people too. We can be best friends. And Bray is cool. That sounds good. As opposed to he doesn't really seem like he's fighting for power. There doesn't seem to be a power struggle between those two, at least not yet. They're not hinting at him being unhappy. He it makes sense for him to want to be in a group with a guy that likes hurting people as much as he does.
Oh yeah, it's easier for him. You got to imagine to just be evil.
Yeah.
I know you're not a huge Star Wars guy, but there's a lot of that in. It's moving to the dark side where you're just well, I can get power faster, and it's a lot easier because I don't have to worry about controlling my shit. Because I can just do whatever indiscriminately, and it doesn't matter. I can feel whatever and do whatever. This is great. So yeah, that's Orton essentially was just God, fuck this not listening to the voices stuff. It's like, sure, they have ridiculous ideas, but like, I don't care. Whatever. I'm gonna hurt people.
Wait, is that what he meant when he said, if you can't beat him, join him? That would be amazing. Like, my mind has just been blown. No, I'm very happy with the result of the Rumble, and the result of the Rumble based on where it looks like they're going, and the fact that John Cena and AJ Styles... John Cena beat AJ Styles in one of the 10 best Royal, like, pay-per-view matches I've ever seen. That was really good.
I mean, that was the best Cena title win he has ever had.
Yeah. And you should know.
Literally just rewatched, like, all of them and then wrote about it. So, yeah, I'm not forgetting one. But that was the best. The one I thought was the best before that was Edge vs. Cena, their TLC match. At, God, I can't remember what pay-per-view it was, but it was before there was, like, a TLC pay-per-view. So, and that match is great, Not all of Cena's older stuff necessarily ages well. That did. That's great. It still holds up in pretty much every way. But the Styles one, man, is so good. It's so good. Like, it very well could be match of the year at the end of the year. It wouldn't be disappointing if, like, nothing else got to that level. It's not like that. It's like a few years ago where one of the best matches, top 3 match of the year for WWE was the triple threat they had at the Rumble. It was just that good. It's not because nothing else could catch up to it. So I could easily see that being that kind of match where you're still talking about it in December.
Yeah, and it's another just great AJ Styles performance. It makes me sad that he's probably going to be working with Shane at WrestleMania, because it's just like, I don't dislike Shane. I just don't have the Miz fight Shane. Have AJ Styles work with Nakamura. Just have him work with Nakamura.
Have him not work, considering that he was, like, dead at Survivor Series after taking a spear. I was pretty okay with that being the last thing he ever did at a WWE ring.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Shane.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying Shane. Go. Skip AJ Styles. He doesn't need to be there. That's fine.
Whoa!
No, Shane, man. When Roman Reigns murdered him, but, not with, like, an accident or anything. It was just Shane's like, oh, right, if I take a spear and I've been concussed a billion times and I'm in midair, this would probably be bad for my brain. Which, it was.
I really thought you were talking about AJ, and I was like, how do I talk to him like he's not crazy right now?
What's wrong with you? No, AJ should do something. But you know what? If Shane is going to work Mania, which it's probably going to happen, okay, it's a good thing that's going to happen.
Those are the breaks.
At least we're not waiting for, like, Styles Cena to happen. There's nothing like that. And there are other people I would love to see Styles wrestle, but, like, he can wrestle him after Mania, too. SummerSlam's a big deal, especially for our little dream setups. And if anyone is going to get a decent match out of Shane, it's going to be Styles, who... Man, like, Styles is that kind of guy where I want to test all the theories about, how bad can you get before it's not a good match? Like... I don't know, do we do AJ Styles, Alex Riley at WrestleMania at some point, just to see?
Say it to my face!
It's just like, that was 3 stars. Wow, that's amazing. Huh.
Like, how much does he give you in terms of star ratings inherent? Like, what is his base star rating? I think... I don't want to watch Shane. Don't make me watch Shane. Bring Daniel Bryan back and just have him play chess or something like that. I'd rather see that. I'd rather see that than Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles. It doesn't make any sense. It's going to be not good. And you're wasting AJ Styles, who's on, like, one of the best runs anybody's ever had in the WWE. In terms of, like, in-ring performance, it's every single one is knocking it out of the park.
If there's a Mania to do that kind of thing, though, this one,
Because it's so top, or not even top heavy, but there's so many main eventers right now that it's like...
Well, think of it this way. Like, they're going to do 2 women's championship matches because They have to. If they do a 97-hour show and they do not have 2 women's matches, holy fuck. They cannot do that from like a PR standpoint. And they shouldn't, even without thinking about that. They should want to have their top performers and their top championships on display at the Showcase of the Immortals. But just, to go to like their basest motivation, like they can't do that because they'll get yelled at. There's going to be the WWE Championship defended. There's going to be the Universal title defended. There's going to be Goldberg, Lesnar. There is going to be Undertaker versus whoever. Age. There's going to still be a Triple H. Thank you.
I think you said H, and I was like, no.
Age. There's going to be Triple H versus somebody, even though it won't be the somebody we thought it was going to be.
Well, maybe not. I will be crying every day.
The rumor now is he really wants to work this Mania because it's in Orlando. So, I don't know, it might be NXT related in some way. Could be a launching point for something else. We could talk about that later. But like, look how much is already there before you even talk about Intercontinental, which they have been doing something for Mania for a while. Before you do any of the like cross-brand shit, without counting the Dre, that's a lot. So yeah, put AJ Styles, Shane McMahon on, because whatever. What do you? I don't know. Like,
because I guess you've had a not Shane McMahon, a Vince McMahon Shawn Michaels match. So this is just like a way better version of that match.
Whoa, God's not going to be in this one.
No, that was the tag team match where Shane and Vince were against Shawn and God.
And God. That does have my favorite Shane McMahon moment of all time, though. Where he just sidles away from his dad after Vince says, something blasphemous about being struck down. Let lightning strike him. Shane just, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was not. No, I was gonna say that was the most interesting part about that John Cena AJ Styles match was as I hinted at earlier. My dad was over to watch the Royal Rumble, and my dad is the reason I'm a wrestling fan. But he grew up in New York, so he grew up watching the WWE's entire life. So, like, AJ Styles is this scrawny dude who, like, doesn't look like he could beat up my dad in my dad's head. And then he watched the match, and he was like, that dude is really, really good. I was like, it's palpable to everyone that's ever seen wrestling just how off the charts good AJ Styles is. So I guess he can get a good match out of Shane McMahon. But like
a better one than Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good 5 minutes that took half an hour of our lives away from us.
Those punches, though. Those punches were so great.
Sweet Jesus, I forgot about the punches. Never mind. I don't want to do it. No AJ for Shane. None of that.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, if there's one guy that can get Shane to look good, it's AJ. And then there was the other championship match, which was super great, super duper extra great. Not as good as the John Cena AJ Styles match, but I loved this match. It was Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns with extra help from Braun Strowman.
Hey, Kevin Owens needed help to defend the championship?
Listen, it's complicated.
I'd make fun, but Owens seemed to mostly have that under control. It's not like he looked like he was helpless throughout that. There was just kind of... He looked like he was maybe going to get beat. Maybe.
Yeah, it was like he made it to Game 7. It wasn't smoke and mirrors. It was just... Roman Reigns is a really tough opponent, and he is Wolverine, so you could literally rip the skin off of his bones, and he'd be like, it's cool, I'll just go in water, and then I'll be cool, bros. That's how he talks.
Is it? I don't remember.
Yeah,
usually there's more bump usage.
Yeah, I mute it whenever Roman Reigns is talking, so I don't actually know what he sounds like in promos anymore. Is that wrong? Is that bad? Should I not do that?
I don't know. I sit there and get mad about all the stuff I enjoyed before he showed up. and how it's bad now. That's just what I do.
Well, yeah, one apple. This match was cool because it was a hardcore match, basically, which I think Kevin Owens has the corner on right now, where it's just like he's brought like that indie ladder wars style to the WWE, but it's still his own without it being like his entire gimmick. Like, it's not Mick Foley where it's like, oh, he's gonna get extreme. You just know that in a no disqualification match, Kevin Owens is gonna come up with some messed up stuff that's gonna really hurt you. He's
gonna build a structure you forget about for 20 minutes, and then he's gonna go through it.
His middle name is actually Chekhov, so it's a little known fact.
So that was fun. Braun Strowman looked terrifying. I had a friend over who doesn't watch a lot of wrestling, but he, will come up sometimes for like Rumble, Mania, that stuff. And he's like, that man is halfway across the country and doesn't know I exist, and I'm terrified of him.
Yep. He's the best. And my dad actually had the same exact... I was like, oh, I think you're going to like this guy. And he saw him get in the ring. He's like, who is this? Like, his mind was blown. It was so fun watching the pay-per-view with my dad because he used to follow it, and the level to which he just jumped right back into being a fan because how good the product is right now. It was really cool to watch. And Braun Strowman, he was like, that guy is awesome. He had the same reaction in 10 seconds of Braun Strowman that he had in 25 minutes of AJ Styles, which I think says, but I think it says a lot about Braun Strowman that he is this presence that they have not had he is the presence that on a certain level they wish Roman Reigns was. He is just he just pops every time he's on the screen, and he's just in the Rumble. That's why I thought he was going to win the Rumble. I was shocked. And I mean, they at Raw they put him in the main event, or in a main event match, or a world title match, I guess.
It's not a world title.
Wait, you don't consider it was a universal title?
It's a universal title. It is not the world title.
It is a world title, though, because Pro Wrestling Illustrated not counted as a world title. That's how I used to judge them when I was a kid, is they'd have a list. There was 3.
Has it been defended in countries other than the United States yet?
What was the last pay-per-view in Canada? Was it Survivor Series?
Was it defended?
It was. Yeah,
it was not defended.
It was. Oh, it wasn't. That's terrible. All right, well then, no, he's not a world champion. He's just a universal champion.
The NXT championship, however, is a world championship.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Just because
it's been defended in multiple countries.
Yeah, but if
won in multiple countries.
If the Long Island Ducks win the Independent League World Series, they're not the world champions.
I know. That's what some of the naming conventions were, though, before. It's like, well, this was one in Europe. It's European belt. This was one in a match no one saw in South America, Intercontinental.
I also love the old territory random belt names, where it'd be like the U.S. National Tag Team Junior Heavyweight. You're like, they're just making it so that it's unique, but not at all meaningful anyway. So the Universal title. But the fact that Braun Strowman was in a match for the Universal title is a big deal. That's it. You've made it when you're a guy like Braun Strowman. Yeah, he feels like he's going to get a big... I would like to see him in a main event match with Kevin Owens. I understand they're probably going to do Chris Jericho, but Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens is a match I would watch.
It was kind of amazing that Owens valiantly fighting to not be dead made him kind of the face in that. But also, Braun Strowman was the person who was right, and he wasn't really being a jerk about it. It was kind of accidentally a temporary double turn for both of them.
Yeah, where they both became faces, though.
I know, it's just weird. I'm not complaining about it. It was just a funny setup where the motivations where you're like, well, Braun's not being a jerk. He really was like, oh, you promised me a match, and I would like to have that match now, because why wouldn't I?
Him being a smart person who's also a giant is the best part about his character, by far. It's he's not just like, I'm going to beat you up. He's like, I will make sure that I hurt you in the worst possible way at the worst possible time. And then I will use that as leverage on top of the promise that was already made to me for me to get a title shot. Like, that's a really well thought out plan. And normally they give that to a guy like Seth Rollins, not a guy like Big Show or Kane, which is basically what Braun Strowman is. But honestly, like, he reminds me of young Big Show, like the Giant. That's what he reminds me of. He's at that level of just like, you're good and you're allowed to be smart. There's pretty much no stopping you if they want to put the title on you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he took out Jericho before the match because he actually watches Raw and is aware of what happens on Raw.
One of the truly great don't you watch wrestling moments of the last 10 years. I'm
just going to destroy
seen this. My personal favorite being John Cena telling the ref that Randy Orton is lying about being hurt on the outside, and then immediately after Randy Orton kicks him in the nuts and RKO's him, rolls in the ring. John Cena beats the 9-second count, gets in 9 seconds. Randy Orton just looks at the ref and slaps him in the face, and the ref calls a DQ, and he just starts laughing. Like, that entire sequence is my favorite wrestling thing ever, and I love guys that watch the product and go, I think if I do this, it'll be helpful for me because of these 7 reasons, but they just do the thing instead of, like, explaining it. Like, Braun Strowman's a man of action.
I really like Braun Strowman. Like, legit, they have done a great job. We've complained a lot about some stuff that goes on Raw since the brand split. Braun Strowman is one they've been nailing that the whole time, and it's been great.
He's a perfect Vince McMahon product. Like, he is the thing that Vince McMahon has wanted since Hogan. Like, he is just this, like, giant conquering man who people love and get excited to watch, and that people are interested and engaged in on, like, a surface level, and he can actually work. They got really lucky, or they have we know they have a great talent development team, but like this is one of their crown jewels. I mean, they've had a lot of really good guys come out, but he is from like scratch been built by them, and they've done an excellent job.
And all without showing him off on NXT. I mean, he was a rosebud. That was his non-house show work, was being a rosebud. That's
hilarious. I totally forgot about that. Raw was Raw-y.
Women's Championship. Raw Women's Championship.
Oh, yes, the Raw Women's Championship. I totally forgot about that.
It was
because it ended so suddenly that I was like, oh, was that it? No, I'm kidding. I liked it, but I knew she was going to lose the entire time. Like, clean. Going to probably lose clean. So it was just, like, I knew it was going to... That was a situation where I knew the ending, and they didn't get me to a place where I really thought Bayley ever had a chance. It was just like, she's not going to win this match. It's okay, guys. Just, like, send in the backups. Like, I didn't have any juice at the end of this match, but it was a well-worked match. Like, they looked good, but I just didn't care that much.
They don't... I mean, we'll see what happens, but I feel like they don't have the same chemistry that Sasha and Charlotte have. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll be a triple threat at Mania this year, especially since Sasha seems to be getting annoyed at Bayley, so we might get a Sasha heel turn, and, you know, even if Sasha's the heel, she's still going to hate Charlotte, so we'll have 2 heels, but the heels hate each other, and also Bayley caught in the middle, and we'll see how that works.
Charlotte looked great, though. Charlotte looks like she's the best, it's like her, AJ Styles, and John Cena right now in terms of, like, delivering at every single pay-per-view they're on. They are just on the next level of that, like, she is a true main event performer. I mean, they had her work the curtain jerker, but holy cheese, is Charlotte just great at this point.
I mean, the last time she wasn't great was, the Paige feud?
Which
was still the Divas Championship at that point.
Yeah.
Like, man, that was
And also, with Paige, who's kind of a rough person to feud with because she plays both sides so much that you're just like, I don't know where to go with this.
Yeah, and Paige had been, like, recovering from injury, was injured. so on and off that, I don't know, there was something there, but things didn't get exciting until Nikki Bella was, like, trying to beat the shit out of Charlotte constantly. And then Charlotte turned heel and everything really clicked. But it's been...
Oh, you're a monster and a jerk. This is great.
Yes.
Because she's a monster heel, but she's just mean, and she's way bigger than everybody other than Nia. Like, she's huge.
She should also be the leader of Balor Club while Balor is indisposed.
Oh my god, yeah.
That was fun.
We didn't even mention Finn for the WrestleMania card. That is a stacked card. That is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, he's another option for the Dre to possibly win it if they don't have a specific match for him. Just to show, like, he's come back strong.
Yeah. I think the only match on the actual show, not the kickoff, because the kickoff is the kickoff, though I'm surprised the club won clean, was...
A ref got kicked in the face.
Yeah, but, cleanish.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's two refs, so only one you really need.
I think it's kind of bullshit that a ref got kicked in the face and that did not cause a no DQ.
Or him to call a DQ and then have the other guy pin and then be like, no, he kicked me in the face.
Yeah, and then it's like, hey, wow, we have two refs with different outcomes. Weird, and now we'll have to do this on, like, a proper time when people are watching and actually in an arena.
Though I would like the story to be that he actually knocked out the ref, so they had to just change the storyline. Because those bro kicks are really something else to see, especially if the guy sells it right or doesn't see it coming and just gets kicked off screen.
Sheamus works a stiff style.
How good would he be in Japan? Like...
I'm so mad that, like, another guy like that, like Barrett, why is he not elbowing people's faces off in Japan?
Yeah.
Because they're both like 6'7". Just go, do it.
Yeah, just elbow people's faces off, kick people's faces off, just get people's faces off of their bodies. That's all we're saying. I'm sorry, I didn't love the Cruiserweight match.
Yeah, it wasn't great, which is a shame. I'm glad that Neville won, but, like...
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty clear that if you are at the Royal Rumble, and you are not letting Neville and Swan just tear it up, I don't know if you have any intention of letting anyone do that.
And there were moments where they did, like, really start to get it going a little bit, and Swan looked great. But they pulled it back so quickly. I hope that's what this storyline is about, is, like, them allowing the, like... in a meta way, Neville being representative of the WWE style, and Rich Swann being, like, trying to get away from that, basically. Because, like, the moments that Rich Swann looked good, he looked as good as I've seen him in the main roster. But for the rest of the match, it was just kind of like, okay, this is good, but I want to see something I haven't seen 100 times in a Neville match at this point.
It's very important. And they're not... 205 Live and the Cruiserweight division is not going to succeed until they realize this. What made the Cruiserweights succeed in WCW was that they were so different from what else you could see. The main people in that show, the main event scene, was a lot of big, lumbering, kind of cartoonish dudes with, like, big rear back punches and big pickup moves where they slam you down, and... like, Lex Luger is such a perfect example of what the main event was. He was this enormous man who would lift you up on his shoulders and just do this crazy feat of strength to beat you.
The greatest wrestler in America's history.
Kevin Nash was another one. Like, jackknife powerbombing people. He was just huge, and he wasn't even the biggest guy on the show. But so the Cruiserweights were so different, because not only had people not, like, seen that style much in America, but they were different from everything else. The Cruiserweights now are, like... Before that Cruiserweight match, Kevin Owens did a fucking frog splash to the outside of the ring onto a table. He's like 270 pounds. And it's a good frog splash. And he crushed Roman Reigns, who is also capable of doing some crazy stuff that you wouldn't have seen people do back in WCW who were, like, that size.
Every time he does a drive-by, I'm impressed. Like,
yeah.
he always looks great doing that, and he's a huge man. That's like... between the two of them, they're what, 500 pounds, 510 pounds, and they run around like, not like cruiserweights, but they run around like guys half their size. They run around like junior heavyweights at least.
You got Cesaro, who's like, what, 6'5", and he's bouncing off the ropes like a Street Fighter character to do uppercuts, and
he is like a cruiserweight. He wrestles like a cruiserweight and is strongman.
Bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like, he does corkscrew, like, spinning elbows off the ring ropes. Like, that dude is crazy. So, yeah, I think they have to understand what they're dealing with in terms of, like, it's not a big deal if a guy that's 6'1" can shoot threes anymore, and it's just not a big deal. Like, you have to make it so that they're telling stories of stuff you can't, like you said, you can't see, and stuff that you've never seen before or never seen before in, like, this is going to sound weird, but transition moves. Like, there's stuff that, like, Rich Swann can do that no one else can do, and he does it as, like, his third pin attempt of the match. You know what I'm saying? Where he'll do, like, a corkscrew backflip, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And he'll get, like, a 2 count, and you're like, oh, wow. And then he'll do something even more impressive, so it, like, builds up this, like, understanding of how impressive this stuff can really get.
If you watch the Cruiserweight Classic, what really separated that show from a lot of other WWE shows and styles is the speed. It wasn't just that they were doing flips. It wasn't just that they were bouncing around the ring in crazy ways. It's the speed at which they could do that and they could work together. It wasn't like Osprey Ricochet, but it's the same idea where you're sometimes barely touching each other, but you're just doing this crazy match at this crazy speed, and that is the different style that they have to go for. And it's not constant chin locks and just little submissions here and headlocks there and slowing everything down. And you're just having the tiny, fast people we know you've already shown us that they can do these things on a show that you produced. So you got to go back to that. You can't pull away from that now. You have to make it different. It might even be worth pulling them off of Raw entirely and doing 205 Live and doing 205 Live like a Cruiserweight Classic with stories where it's just that style. So you're not like showing up the other performers on Raw or whatever, you know? It's just so weird the way it is now, because what's the point? What is the point of watching the Cruiserweights? Why would you not go get more popcorn or nachos or go to the bathroom other than and I'm saying this as someone who really loves those people, who have watched those guys, a few of those guys have watched them like in little halls, at indie shows.
And as huge Neville fans, we love Neville. Yeah. And I think he was fine, and I thought the match was good. It's just it's not as good as it should be at all.
Yeah, and that's all I can think of the whole time is that it's not as good as it should be. You should have that show be in a place, and not right away, but you should be clearly building toward it. It should be a place where someone like Ricochet can be like, yeah, I want to be Cruiserweight champion. I would love to be on 205 Live, and then go to Raw at some point. But he's just nah, dude. And I understand that's because he's amazing, and, he's been Lucha Underground champion as Puma, and he really wants to be the IWGP Junior Heavyweight champion in Japan. So he thinks of himself as more than that. But that's the thing. You don't make the Cruiserweights seem like this shittier version with smaller people of what you already have. Lean on their strengths. Those guys are fast. They're real fast. They're capable of doing some stuff I love Kevin Owens, and he can do moonsaults, and he can do frog splashes, and he can do all this stuff that guys his size never were doing 20 years ago. Or even 10 years ago.
Bam Bam Bigelow. He reminds me, so in terms of that, he reminds me a lot of Bam Bam Bigelow, but that's the only guy that is
So, he's not doing it, he's not going to do it at the speed.
No, not even.
That Neville can do it, that Swan can do it, that Cedric Alexander can do it, that any of those guys. So, lean on that,
Yeah. Totally, and I agree with. Though I guess my question would be in terms of that: are you saying get towards a place? Are you speaking in a literal sense, make it Lucha Underground-esque, where where they are in the same way that also NXT is the same way, where the NXT Full Sail is part of the universe of the show? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about getting to a certain level of prestige, or both?
I think they can still tour around, but maybe the show doesn't have to be live. Do it before SmackDown,
205 Live, and then in parentheses, question mark.
Fucking change the name of the show. People didn't like the name of it anyway.
Call it Club 205.
And also the show hasn't been good. So it's unnecessary right now. And I hate saying that, because again, I really like a lot of the people who are on there. But man, there's only so many hours in the week. I'm watching other stuff. That's how it goes. Especially with the brand split happening, you're gonna make it worth it that you could be using that other hour at Raw, because they're definitely not economical with Raw. It's
the nicest way I've ever heard the word bloated used.
Oh my god, yeah. There's just a lot they could do, and I feel like speed is the only thing you can do to really just emphasize that, because the Cruiserweight Classic felt fast in a style that brought in people who don't necessarily look for WWE style wrestling first. So don't do WWE style wrestling. Just don't. Use that as your place to not do it.
Yeah, that's how you make it stand out. And the one guy who really gets to go completely outside of that, and I'd really like him to feud with Neville, is Jack Gallagher. Like, Jack Gallagher actually has his own style, which is very technical in a way that would work against Neville really well, and the WWE isn't afraid of it. They embrace it in a way that is really good to see, because it means that they still have a soft spot in their heart for your Dean Malenko types, where it's a guy that's a great technician that can literally tie you up in knots. And he also he's a great showman. I hope that becomes a feud at some point. Because for me, I will watch 205 Live because of Jack Gallagher and because of Neville. Those two guys keep me watching or paying attention. At least I may not watch it every week, but I pay attention to watch their segments on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. But I can't sit through an hour of this stuff plus what's on Raw every week until you start giving me a reason to care about what's happening in the ring, which is the only thing I cared about in the Cruiserweight Classic. You never got me to care about... you got me to care about kind of that TJ Perkins was homeless, but not really. I didn't care, but other people did. But outside of that, it was just it was mostly just guys kicking each other in the face really hard and then kicking out. Yeah,
do more of that. More kicking people in the face and kicking out.
And then kicking out. More kicking in general.
Yeah, fewer chin locks. It's just, the six-mans are so bad. Remember when six-mans in WWE were awesome every single time without fail?
Yeah, because the Shield is the best trio of all time.
Yeah. Ugh.
Name a more iconic trio. I'll wait.
Oh boy. So I'm not trying to name one. I'm just thinking about what else is going on. So SmackDown's entire women's division is essentially feuding in and around each other, and it's great.
If only there was some sort of structure that could hold the exact amount of people.
It's a shame that it feels like there won't be an Elimination Chamber match. Well, there won't be, because I guess they already named matches. But at least at this one, it's half of that show is going to be women's matches. So, they're not getting the Elimination Chamber match, but it sounds like there will only be one Elimination Chamber match anyway. Which is fine, because I sometimes hate the, let's double up on the types. I would have really loved at Hell in a Cell if it was hey, the Hell in a Cell match this year is Charlotte versus Sasha. Just do one. You don't have to make every match like that. It's okay. There's only one Royal Rumble. Imagine if they had settled every feud with a different Rumble.
We should start doing that.
You know what I mean, though?
No, I know exactly what you mean.
What they really should do is a women's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, I think they'll have that before they have a women's Elimination Chamber match. I don't know why, though. I think the Elimination Chamber match would work fine.
Oh, it would. It totally would. But either way, it's okay, we can let them have their first Elimination Chamber match and take up an hour of the show, or we can let them be half the card and take up an hour of the, and give the stories all room to breathe and their own thing. And I kind of would rather that, because it's a better sign going forward instead of just, let's slap them all in. They've built up these feuds enough where it's okay, it's fine if they're separate. Especially since the only one with a real claim to the title right now is Naomi. Because, Becky is already off. She can't even think about the title because she just wants to murder Mickie James. And Nikki and Natalya cannot function until one of the other is dead.
Yeah, it might be Nikki. I can't put that. There's a rumor on the cage side seats.
I don't even want to talk about that yet. I'm not emotionally prepared, and also I want to give it a few days for the rumor that's like, oh, just kidding. It wasn't Nikki Bella, actually. It was someone else entirely. I don't know why we published that.
It was Nikki Bella's dog, but the dog's fine. He just can never wrestle again. What an adorable little puppy.
So that Elimination Chamber match, we know who's in it. The men's.
We know who's going to win it. Bray Wyatt.
I hope so. I mean, it feels like it, right? With Orton winning the Rumble. Because, as you said earlier, there is no reason for them to dissent with each other. But if all of a sudden, you think you two are equals, then it's like, well, Bray's a little more equal than I am. He already has the championship. And I get to wrestle him. Maybe I am better. Hey, fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck this guy. Oh, no, you were... Oh, sorry.
That was the end. It wasn't looking for support there. It's fine. It's great, though. Like, Orton versus Wyatt was not at all exciting the first time, so don't get me wrong about that. But, like, the feud was fine. I really liked the feud, and I liked the fallout from it. The match itself was boring, and it felt like they put it where they did because the debate was happening that night. So, it was like, well, no one's going to remember this match anyway. They're all watching this other thing.
I worry that Bray Wyatt is the Undertaker in the sense that, like, I'm just going to come out and say it. This is a hot take. A hot take. I didn't like the first, 6 or 7 Undertaker WrestleMania matches.
That's it?
No, it starts to get good at no, WrestleMania 17's good.
Who do you see wrestle at 17?
Triple H.
Oh yeah, but that's because it wasn't an hour and a half long.
And the Ric Flair match at WrestleMania 18.
But that was Riker.
Great.
That was Biker Taker.
Yeah.
I mean, he even beat him with part of his bike.
And then WrestleMania 19 is unequivocally, I don't care what anyone says, that is unequivocally the worst Taker match. Like, at least with Giant Gonzalez, you got a cool entrance. You got Rolling by Limp Bizkit live by the WWE's favorite band. I hate WrestleMania 19 is both the best and worst WrestleMania ever. It starts off with
I don't even remember who he wrestled at 19.
19 was Nathan Jones, Albert. I was trying to think of A-Train. That's what they called him.
Okay.
And another rando, but Nathan. Oh no, Nathan Jones is supposed to be his tag team partner. And the Big Show and A-Train versus Undertaker and Nathan Jones. But Nathan Jones was such a bad wrestler, they wrote him off the day of the show and had to be a 2-on-1 handicap match to start off the show. At which point, Limp Bizkit played Rolling to introduce Taker. Yeah, it was a set things on fire bad match.
It's okay. Shawn Michaels matches were apologies for all previous bad Undertaker matches, and I accept them.
But I worry about the same thing with Bray Wyatt. He's a good wrestler on paper, but he hasn't quite figured out, it feels like, exactly how to pretend to be mystically powerful, but also just be a regular wrestler, if that makes sense. Once Undertaker started to understand that, he can't sit up after every time he gets hit, was, when he started to get into being a better wrestler and actually telling a story that was him and the other guy telling a story. It always feels like Bray Wyatt's telling us, at least in his bad matches, he's telling a story and the other guy just happens to be in the ring.
So what you're saying, if I'm following correctly, is that Bray Wyatt needs to buy a motorcycle. A chopper. Excuse me.
And have Limp Bizkit play, yeah.
Well, maybe not Limp Bizkit.
My Chemical Romance?
No. I don't know.
Uptown Funk? Is that a band?
You should ask Baron Corbin about the new metal bands. And he'll be
dude, why are you talking to me, bro?
Just throw a Mastodon album at him and be like, fuck, get out of here. Get out. Leave me alone.
I'm going to look at pictures on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I like Bray a lot. Even in his.
Sorry, I'm just imagining Bray on a motorcycle now.
I want Bray on a motorcycle. What the hell? Corbin Storm said, "That's my dad's thing. Don't do that. It's my thing too." But I'm allowed. My dad.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Son-dertaker is just the best.
Oh god, someone tweeted that at me the other day. And I'm like, yep, gonna use that now forever. Son-dertaker. Yeah.
That's all I was thinking when you were talking about Baron Corbin was Son-dertaker.
He's got so many great nicknames. Big Banter. Son-dertaker.
The lead singer of the Lone Wolves.
I bought a Corbin shirt because they had that sale.
Was it a BOGO?
Yesterday. Yeah, it was buy one get one $5.
Oh,
so I got the Baron Corbin vintage, which is it's a good shirt, and then I got the Becky Lynch vintage because it's the only Becky Lynch shirt that doesn't imply that I am the one kicking lasses.
Which you're notorious for. You don't want people.
Well, I just don't want people to think that that's a thing that I do because for one, it's not. Two, come on, hey, don't do that. But like people, the Becky Lynch part of the shirt, is on top and is in much bigger letters than the last kicker part. So you're like, if you're reading it, you're going, Becky Lynch, last kicker. Oh, okay. Unlike the other one that was like, last kicker, Becky Lynch, similar font. And you're like, oh, ooh, hey.
Last kicker, and I kick Becky Lynch's.
Yeah, so it's not great. But I'm excited to finally have a shirt of both of them. So, yeah, what were you talking about before that? Yeah, Bray Wyatt. I like Bray Wyatt. If Bray Wyatt wins an Elimination Chamber, that's cool. But who else was in the match? Obviously Cena.
Cena, Daniel Bryan, I believe. No,
Someone's gonna listen to this and then they're gonna go to their wrestling blog and be like, hot scoop, Daniel Bryan is in the match. Then they're gonna check it. And the article will be 2 sentences long, and there will be 17 typos.
It's AJ, Cena, Dean, Bray, Baron, and The Miz.
It's a great collection. So, yeah, we'll learn. I guess we'll learn Orton's opponent for WrestleMania, who better not be John Cena.
No, John Cena is wrestling The Miz and Maurice.
That's a rumor too.
It's gonna happen.
There's so many rumors. That would suck, but only because I like it would be fine, but I hate the mixed tag matches as we've talked about because it's 2 singles matches and there are no tag team advantages that work because you can't be like, yeah, we're really killing this person. I'm going to tag you in so that we stay fresh.
I'd really like it if The Miz and Maurice just went full Republican and just changed the rules midway through the match and just started attacking John Cena or Nikki Bella at the same time. That would be...
It's too soon.
No, just nobody has to be here. It's fine.
Talking about wrestling to escape realities. Don't do that to me.
That was my maniacal laugh. It's not good.
It's really not good. So,
Mwahaha? Is that...
It's not as good as Miz's fake laugh, which is unequivocally the best fake laugh, because it starts out semi-genuine and then just turns into this big cartoon character laugh, and then you're like, oh, he's making fun of me. Oh.
I was saying boo words.
It is a shame that Miz can't be WWE champion yet, but maybe SummerSlam? I don't know. We'll get there. Money in the Bank?
Champion forever.
It'd be a great time for him to be winning Money in the Bank, but we're so far ahead of ourselves now. Man, Seth Rollins is hurt and everything is terrible, by the way.
Yeah, speaking of terrible things that we're trying to hide from, geez Louise, that stinks.
Yes.
I mean, geez Louise, that really stinks.
Can I quote you on that? Wow.
Yeah, you can.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's just like you saw it happen too, and you're like, "Ooh, God, your knee's not supposed to go that way."
Huh.
Yeah, it sounds like he might be back in time for WrestleMania.
Yeah, was it 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks. That's what Cage Side's reporting it as. That is what Spandex has it as. It seems to be the consensus at the moment. though it is still being posited as reportedly and not officially. So it's still technically a rumor, though it seems to be confirmed by enough people that I feel comfortable mentioning it on the show. So 6 to 8 weeks, which is right around the time for WrestleMania. I don't know how they do this storyline if they don't know for sure if he's coming back. But if I think they know for sure he's coming back, I think they can figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, if they know he's coming back, there are a lot of things they can do. You can keep the feud alive via satellite, via talking appearances, whatever. Have Seth in places.
Go Phil Braun, Bret Hart, and just like yell at people in a wheelchair.
Oh man, Bret was something. Yeah,
I still remember that super kick sell where he just fell onto the wheelchair and fell over in the wheelchair.
What do you do? I guess what do you do if Seth's not back though? Because H supposedly wants to wrestle because it's in Orlando and NXT's there and everyone is there, and I guess even outside of what you have him do, because we don't even, Seth might be there. This kind of feels like a good moment for H to not wrestle as much if he really feels like stepping away from the ring like he's talked about. Isn't this a great time for him to be kind of like the head of a stable of NXT people with like Joe as the heavy, and they're running around like think of a tiny NXT, like a tiny Nexus, but they're not just like fighting whatever because all the veterans make fun of them on a reality show. But it's Triple H just being like, "This is my goon squad now. They're going to destroy you."
Yeah, goon squads and Triple H are fantastic because he's Dr. Doom. So like him just having Doom bots to do his bidding is the best possible scenario for Triple H to be like a really. That's why Evolution is so great, is because he has Dave Bautista, who's like the all-time heavy. Like, is literally such a good heavy. He was a Bond villain.
Also, an alien in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Known for, brute strength.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he is maybe the best, most charismatic person they've ever had play that role. So, like, him with Triple H worked better than almost anything they've ever... Like, they nailed that storyline so well because he's just great at getting people to do stuff and pushing those people to their limits without ever feeling like he has reached the pinnacle of his evilness.
Yeah.
Or his vindictive and manipulative. Like, it always seems like he has more douchebaggery left in the tank. And, like, there's always a plan B should be on his character's tombstone when he passes. Like, when that character gets killed off, like, there's always a plan B. And then he resurrects. That's how you do it.
Joe would be great as, like, the main guy for this. But, you pair him with, like, the Revival or something. And you just have the Revival and Samoa Joe.
And one young guy.
Yeah, like real young. I don't know who you put up right now, but it's like you could make it work. And you'd be able to... Joe, Triple H is pointing to Samoa Joe and saying, this guy is important. Because, I trust him to do my dirty work. He is important. And then, you've paired these guys with Samoa Joe. So, like, they are also important. It worked really well, and it's a good way for H to explain his absence for, he's essentially running a show and doing all this other stuff, and it lets him be that guy who, like, they call in, and it's like, we're relaying a message to Joe, and the message was murder this guy. And Joe's like, yeah, okay, I got that.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
So it'd be a real good way to do things, and it's a shame Seth is hurt for a ton of reasons, but, like, the inability to do this now is also one of them. But hey, if he's back in time, and you really want to make NXT a presence at WrestleMania, well, do an invasion. You've got, how many people are important right now in NXT, who are former NXT guys, who are, like, have huge roles or a championship in WWE? It's pretty easy for Triple H to be like, hey, I was slowly taking you over from the inside all along.
Like a sleeper cell kind of thing.
Yeah. And you've got enough non-NXT guys that you can do something, Yeah,
and I would also think that the Samoa Joe turning on H bit, like, which seems to be another rumor in terms of changing the plans if they don't go with Seth, one of the possible thing, that would work really, 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 really well as a match. Like, that may be the secret, like, best match, possible match combination that they could do in the company right now with everybody healthy. Without everybody healthy. Like, Samoa Joe is for real.
Yeah.
He is going to be, I mean, he already is over, but man, on the main roster, he is going to just be, like, lights out. I feel like he's the only guy I can imagine having a better first year than AJ Styles.
Yeah, which, I was disappointed at first when he didn't show up at the Rumble, but at the same time, I thought he was going to win the Rumble, and there's really no point in having him show up at the Rumble if he's not going to win it. You had AJ Styles show up at the Rumble and had him last for a long time to show, like, hey, we understand you like this guy and he's important and we're going to treat him well. Samoa Joe, if you're not going to have him show up at the Rumble, you do what you did the next night where you go, hey, this guy just murdered a multi-time WWE World Champion who's in a feud with one of the most important people on the show. It did it like nothing.
Yep. Like,
that's how you introduce him. And now he's going to wreck other shit.
Yeah, and it's because that's why NXT's so great. Because you have, he's a 2-time NXT champion, like we've talked about previously. That establishes you as a guy that can actually hang on at least the base level. Like, you have passed the barrier for entry to be a WWE, like, a big deal in the WWE. You already have that as your background. Where, like, not even AJ Styles really had that. He had to build, like you said, for at least 2 or 3 months. Like, past Jericho at WrestleMania, he really starts to pick up steam. Uh-huh. But before that, I think that's where Joe is now, and he's already a bigger deal than AJ was because he was already in NXT, and he is just a brute. He's better than he's maybe ever been, and he is just an absolute destroyer. And I would look forward to this match as much as I would look forward to a Seth Triple H match. I just wish Seth didn't have to get hurt to have it even be a possibility.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I'm depressed, so let's call it the end of the episode.
Though I have one thing that will not depress you.
Oh?
Lucha Underground's going to be on Netflix.
Yes, it is. First 2 seasons, February 15th.
Yeah, huge. If y'all don't watch when it's on Netflix, we can't be friends and you have to stop watching. I'm sorry.
Listening, you mean?
No, watching. Wrestling. Period. Full stop.
Okay.
Yeah, any wrestling. You're out.
Don't tell them to stop listening to us.
No. Keep listening to us. We'll be your only lifeline. So, Mark, where can they find you on the internets?
They can find me on Twitter at Mark_Normandin. That is Twitter. That is Twitter with a C. Yeah, sure. No, that's Mark with a C. You can find my wrestling writing. You can find my wrestling writing at CagesideSeats.com. You can also find it at SBNation.com/wrestling, though that is a little quieter when we're not doing one of the pay-per-views. So, Cage Sides, your daily. I am on paternity leave right now, so the only things I am doing are writing Rude Awakening in the morning, and I am doing this podcast. And yeah, that's my next month. Well, I mean, as far as you guys are concerned, I'm taking care of the baby.
You will not be writing about that, though.
No, I will not.
Though, adorable Celtics picture on Twitter today.
Well, thank you.
Adorable. And as a Celtics fan, just my heart grew 3 sizes. It was very small heart, so don't get excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
You can find me at the Nixter. That's THEN1CKSTER. That's the 8,000th time I've gotten that right, so I'm very proud. What?
It's fine.
It was actually the 109th time I've gotten it right.
We don't have that many episodes either. And yeah, it's okay though. Continue.
You're a real jerk.
Continue.
You know what?
Yes.
Crooked media, that's what you are. You can rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Do you have a review?
No, now you have to come up with one.
A day late, but no dollar short. Thumbs up emoji. Can you put emoji in a? Do you know?
I mean, it depends on your keyboard, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you guys figure out the thumbs up emoji, but and you can also check us out at SoundCloud.com/Rudo Radio. I'm going to redo that entire thing because I was supposed to say SoundCloud, then rate and review on iTunes. So real quick. All right. You can rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, and you can, motherfucker, I'm going to get it this time. You can check us out on SoundCloud.com /Rudo Radio. It's RUDO RADIO. And you can rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. And the review for this week is not.
It's Bone Throne.
I hate you so much. Yeah, Bone Throne ! That's what we're going with. Ship it. All right. And I guess if there's nothing left to say, the only thing left to say
Bone
is
Throne.
bye.